If you're not waking up to client DMs like this, then listen up, because that is exactly what we are going to be talking about today. And it's something that I've dealt with a lot as well. When I was first getting started, I would post content and you would get a trickle of views and it wouldn't really do anything. It certainly wouldn't bring DMs in, bring you client DMs in or potential client DMs in. And the only people that were really paying attention were the crickets. We've all been there. It's like a sort of rite of passage when you start creating content. But when you're in that place and you're trying to get that little bit forward, it's like soul sucking, and it can really, really make you feel like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Everybody else seems to be able to do it, but I can't do it. Why is my content not performing? What? And it makes you start to look outside yourself for the answers. But to be fair, 100% of this video, when I'm going to go through my framework, the unfuckwithable content framework, the biggest thing I will tell you is the more you look outside for the answer, the further away you get from the answer. Okay? And that sounds very, very counterintuitive, but just bear with me, because I can assure you, when you start to connect with the person that's actually inside you and stop going and scrolling Instagram for 2 hours looking for inspiration, that is when you start to actually magnetize the clients into the DM. So the first part of the unfuckwithable content framework is to define who that person is that you're actually talking to. And this is really important, and it's something that a lot of people don't do. And the thing is, if you don't know who you're actually speaking to and you're trying to speak to everybody, you're actually speaking to nobody, because your content's so watered down, your message is so watered down. And the people that do find that post, they don't connect with it because it's like, oh, that's lovely. It's cute. And you don't want somebody to say that about your content. You want them to say, oh, okay. You want it to activate something inside of them that says, okay, I need to listen. Yeah? If your content doesn't do that and it's just, oh, that's cute, what you do is you attract fans. You attract people that you inspire. And people that you inspire are brilliant, but they're not going to pay you. They're not going to jump into your DMs and pay you money. So you need to be really clear on who you serve. Now, with the unfuckwithable content framework, we'll use astrology to help us. So the who is very, very easy to determine when you're using your astrological birth chart, because the most magnetic you are, is the place where you're the most magnetic, is your rising sign. Your rising sign is not your sun sign, it's not your moon sign, it's your rising sign. It's where the sun was as it was rising, yeah? On the day and the time that you were born. So this is where you are the most magnetic, when you are embracing this archetype, if you like, yeah? Now, also, when you look at the lower vibration of your rising sign, that is the people that you are this is one of the steps to finding who you actually serve, yeah? There is a few other wee things we do within this side, the content framework, but it's far too much for this video. But looking at your rising sign and looking at the lower qualities of your rising sign as well is a good starting point for you to actually see who you serve, and using astrology to find the most magnetic. So for me, for example, my rising sign is Libra. So that means that I am most magnetic when I show up fair, when I come across diplomatic, when I am keeping things balanced, there's harmony, there's even beauty. And I don't know if you would call this beauty, but like I suppose like I do like things to look nice. I don't know if you can tell that from my YouTube video, but yeah, so there's that as well. So that is where I'm going to be the most magnetic, when I am focusing on these qualities. And I do this for every video. I do this, I don't even do it consciously now, because I'm so used to my rising sign. And the thing is, a lot of people connect more with their rising sign more than any other sign, because it's the way you've been conditioned to behave as a child. Yeah, that's what your rising sign actually shows. Now, like we said, that's how we show up as the most magnetic version of ourselves. But when you're looking at your rising sign, by flipping it and looking at the lower qualities of it, the shadow qualities of your rising sign, that is when you see who is a brilliant candidate for your client. So for me, low vibe Libra is people pleasing, is putting everybody else before yourself, playing devil's advocate for the sake of playing devil's advocate. even a little bit superficial at times because you're trying to be nice to everybody because you want everybody to like you, which can make you come across fake. That's another low vibe Libra comment. Self-abandonment, another low vibe Libra comment. Ugh, a low vibe Libra thing. Yeah. That is what you want to do. So I write down all of these and then I'm like, okay, so what do I do? I'm a business coach. I use astrology. So I'm astrology for business for people that people please, overgive, undervalue themselves, low self-worth, all that sort of stuff. So it helps me create content that can speak to these people because now I know exactly what they're struggling with. If you're like, how can I work out what my rising sign is? Go to astro.com and then go to charts. And when you're in there, just put in your birth details. You might have to go to extended charts, but once you're there, go to there, put in your details, and it will spit back your 3 signs, your sun, moon, and rising. Now, you'll know your sun sign because that is your star sign. That is where the sun was, what sign it was in when you were born. So for me, that is Gemini. A lot of people tend to say that that is what you grow into as you get older. But for this video, all you need to know is that we're focusing in on our rising sign to help us get the person where we are most magnetic to. The other big problem that I see a lot of people make when they're creating content is they shame their audience. Now, you might not know that you're actually doing this, but if you're saying things like, your content sucks, let me show you how to fix it. Yes, that used to work. That is how marketers used to be trained. That we were trained to focus on the problem, which we still do, but this is like you're actually shaming your audience into working with you. You don't want to do that because it's actually what happens when you do that is you attract people that are in a victim mentality, that are always looking outside of themselves for the solution, and they're not actually willing to do the inner work, which for a lot of coaches, spiritual healers, excuse me, a lot of coaches, spiritual healers and that sort of thing, you want your clients to do the inner work. And if you're attracting people that are in victim mentality, it's not going to look great for you when you don't have these kind of results. So another way to frame that is, for me, for example, saying your content sucks, do this instead. You could say, if you want to attract more clients, then do this. Or how I attracted X amount of clients, do this. And it's more empowering, it's more activating because they can actually see what that content is actually about in a positive light, rather than seeing, oh, I just feel like shit now because you've just guilt tripped me or you've just shamed me into feeling like I'm not good enough. So we don't want to do that. So if you're like seeing videos that teach that method, forget them now and focus on this, because that is not a great way to get clients, and it doesn't attract the right people that will get the results for coaches. It might work for other things, but definitely not for coaches. So another thing that I want you to try and lean into, and I think over the next few months, this could be a little bit easier because we have Mars and Leo. I've got a video out tomorrow about what that's about. But today, what I want to talk to you about is being the main character of your life. Yeah. Being the main character, taking up space when you're on camera. If I showed up on camera like this, and I just started talking and I wasn't actually putting any energy into this video, you'd be like, what the actual fuck am I watching here? Yeah. But the thing is, when you're not used to performing on camera or speaking on camera or doing anything in front of a camera, you get that sort of camera shy way where you're like, oh, what am I doing here? I don't know. Should I actually be? And you get a little bit awkward. And I know how that feels as well. Again, we all start somewhere. And if you had seen my earlier videos, unfortunately, I don't have any of them. But if you'd seen me around 2015, 2014, you wouldn't see somebody who was just speaking to you like I would speak to you if you were in front of me. You would have seen me putting on my telephone voice, and trying to be dead professional. And that's the thing. You can get professional anywhere. People don't want to see professional. They want to see the real shit. They want to see the real deal. And the thing is, if you're too scared to put the real deal out there, then you need to do the inner work to be able to embrace your main character energy. And this is super important because it gives off a totally different vibe. If I show up there like this and I look like I'm not even bothered, why would you want to work with me? Yeah, whereas if I show up in full Libra, Gemini, Scorpio fashion and give you it all, like if you were to meet me in person, you would see this person, right? Now, what you've also got to remember there is as well, when you go in front of camera, that camera takes about 10 times of your energy out of you. So even me just sitting here like this and talking like this, it's still not that interesting. But when I just give it a little bit more energy and really lean into who I am, it starts to come across a little bit better because you have to give that energy back to the camera. This I've actually got a story to tell you with this point. Okay, so for I don't know how long, right? But there was a period of time when I was really, really dealing with a struggle with saying what I wanted to say on camera. And like today, this video has been really, really smooth. I've not had much problems, but I do sometimes have problems, and that's why sometimes I cut things. And that's to cut out the big long gaps and cut out all this stuff. But today has actually been okay, so well done me. But I was going through this problem, and it was actually my jaw felt like it was clenched half the time. Now, I still to this day, I sometimes get this jaw clenched feeling. Now, I'm all about energetics. I'm all about spirituality. I'm all about that stuff. So I spoke to my friend who's an energy healer and got some energy healing on it. And still, it was still tight. It was a wee bit looser, but it was still tight. Now, I continued to do that. I wasn't expecting miracles after the first time. But then after that, as I started to do more shadow work, the jaw clenched thing was actually around me not speaking my truth. And I was like, oh, I would never even, I don't even know what I'm not speaking. But this was around the time where I was recording videos like 3 ways to get 4,000 thingies or whatever. I can't even think like that anymore. 4 ways to train your dog to sit. Oh, that was actually perfect. 4 ways to train your dog to sit. Yeah. It was that kind of a content. It had no personality whatsoever. So it wasn't so much that it was what I was saying was wrong or I was lying or anything like that. It was more that I was suppressing who I was at my core. I wasn't letting Jay out on camera. I was letting somebody else that was dead timid and only would speak about what he could speak about. And it was the very vague surface level stuff. And the thing is, when you're putting out the vague surface level shit, people are falling asleep they're confused and they don't know what the fuck to do. So you need to, like, that was the thing. I would never have swore on a video. Yeah. I would never have swore. But see, if you were in front of me and we were at a coffee or that might slip out. Yeah. Like, just like when I'm recording a video, that might slip out. So now I just embrace it. And that's what this is about. Don't try and do that professional vibe thing. Really work on it. Now, what I do to make sure that I'm getting better every single time I show up on camera is I practice my craft. Yeah. And I suggest you do this. Just set up your camera, not with any creating content or anything like that, just to get used to showing up. Whether that be if you're doing an energy healing on the camera, show up and do an energy healing just for practice. Show up and talk just for practice, especially with talking, because that is the time where you're gonna have to. What do I say? Like, if I, so when I'm gonna say something that I'm a wee bit like, I feel the jaw clenching and I start to pull back a little bit. It's like I want to hit the backspace button about 500 times. Yeah. When you start to feel like that, you just need to say it. Yeah. Just say it. And if you're a Virgo and you're finding yourself over explaining a lot of things, because Virgo are very, very guilty of that, you need to start to get really comfortable, because when you get more comfortable and you're not, it'll make you need to start getting more comfortable, because when you are over explaining, that is usually a nervous system reaction to something. If it's not that, then you could be over explaining, trying to prove your worth. So if you are over explaining things, that's usually there's a sign of something that needs to be worked on there. So that's something to keep a note on. I'm just checking. Yeah, we're actually good for time. There's two more little things that really can improve your content. The first thing is making them feel things, and you do this by telling stories. Like earlier on there, I was telling you the story about how my jaw was clenched because I wasn't speaking my truth and I was dimming who I was. It's the same sort of a thing here. Yeah, you want to tell stories, and even the stories like that make you squirm a little bit inside. Because if you really want to be that unfuckwithable coach, the one that shows up and speaks their truth and is out there like given the value that they deserve, then you need to really speak your truth. You need to be you need to look like that person. If you're going out there as the unfuckwithable coach and then you're sitting like scared like a little mouse in front of this camera, that you're not the unfuckwithable coach. Yeah. You're version 1 at this point. Yeah. But you're already version 2. You just need to take your rising sign and run with it. Really emphasize these. So for me, that social butterfly sort of energy. I'm a Gemini as well, and unfortunately that does come through quite a lot now as I've leaned into it more. So I do get a little bit hyper at times, a little bit delirious, but that's just who I am. But when I'm like that, that is me letting you feel something. Yeah. That's like if you were sitting in front of me. And the thing is, you're like, oh, but what if people don't like me? Well, if people don't like you, then that's fine. That is absolutely fine. Because if they don't like you, they're not going to buy from you. They're certainly not going to spend thousands with you. So that's okay. Are you here to be liked, or are you here to serve your people? Because me, I'm here to serve a group of people that want to step into their unfuckwithable era and start to earn 10K plus per month and be able to have the time and not have to be stuck on sales calls. That is who I'm here for. Yeah. I want to have people like that want to go and climb a mountain on a random Wednesday or go for an impromptu lunch date on a random Tuesday. Not be stuck behind a camera filming content every single day or stuck on sales calls or stuck doing whatever. That's what being unfuckwithable is. When you know what you want and your goals are aligned and you're taking aligned action and you're not just doing shit for the sake of doing it. Yeah? When you show up to create content and you're passionate and people can see and feel that passion from you and they feel that. They feel it. And that is when the magic happens. That's when you make people start to want to jump into your DMs. But if you don't make them feel anything because you're showing up scared and dimming yourself down, people ain't going to jump into your DMs. People ain't going to be coming to you wanting to pay you thousands. If you do attract people in your DMs and you're showing up not as your full self, what I tend to see with clients is that they attract people that are always trying to negotiate their worth. They just want a bargain. And you're more than a bargain. You're not a McDonald's version of a coach. Yeah? We are the unfuckwithable coach if you're on this channel. So that's it for this mini training. I hope you've got a lot of good information out of this. And if you are thinking, oh, I need a new strategy, I need this, or I want to learn more, or whatever, you don't. Yeah? You've got everything that you need inside of you. If you want to take this further and work with me, you can go into the description. All the links are down there. There's a free video down there that I've created which walks you through the system that I use to build a business 10K. So go and check that out. But that's it for this video. I hope you have an awesome day.